Hello and welcome to this episode of the weekly Shakeout of Paula's Run Club, which is of course brought to you by High Five. And do not forget that you can head to highfive.co.uk and use that special discount code Paula25 to get yourself 25% off all of their goodies and keep yourself well hydrated and fueled in all of your training. And let's get straight into the questions for this week. First one, Thommo, comes in on the WhatsApp. So a quick reminder of that WhatsApp number first. That is +44 7564 747 914. You can, of course, email them in to Paula's Run Club at momentumbroadcast.co.uk and on socials too at Paula's Run Club for all of those. This one comes in from Matt in Bedford. So big shout out to my hometown of Bedford. Matt says, hi, love the podcast, thank you. It gives me something to look forward to on my long runs. I started a 16-week marathon training program on the 13th of October, aiming for an undecided marathon at the end of January. When I actually came to look for the undecided marathon, I really struggled to find anything suitable across January, February and March. I have been lucky enough to secure a place in the Paris Marathon in mid-April, but my question is, how do I extend my 16-week training plan by 10 plus weeks? What are the best methods? Thank you. So what do you think, Thommo? I mean, it sounds like he started it on the 13th of October, so he's, 3-4 weeks into it?
Yeah, so I mean, he's partly not really got fully into the depth of it yet.
Yeah.
So there's that, but also I wouldn't say it's about extending. It's about kind of going back to the basics is more how I would describe it. And what I mean by basics is Steve Cram said it very eloquently on the pod about if you want to run a good marathon, you need to run a good half. You want to run a good half, you want to run a good 10. If you want to run a good 10, 5. And so it's more about, it's an opportunity to go back to basics and just condition your body to handle longer running but slower without any real purpose to the run. So I think, I'm hesitant to use extend. It's just kind of revisiting a base level of fitness and mechanical strength that will set you up for when you need to pull the trigger. If you're running April, did you say it was end of April? Was it?
It's mid-April, isn't it, Paris?
Mid-April,
I think.
So it would be round about the start of January when we start our 16-week build up. Would be roughly a good time to then start turning the screw. But between now and then, over the next 4 or 5 weeks, personally, I would just look to kind of revisit a bit of 5 and 10k work and a bit of just longer, slower running without any real purpose to it.
Yeah, extend the base a little bit. Or, I mean, it depends, doesn't it? Depends about whether you're like somebody who likes to run over Christmas or not run over Christmas. Because your other bit is you're almost ahead of the game. So if you wanted to take a short break and then hit that 16-week build up, you could take that break over Christmas. Personally, I'm someone who likes to get out on Christmas Day and enjoy a run. So I think I would extend that base period. And like you say, just experiment on being able to strengthen up those other areas. So maybe a little bit more core stability work, a good time to introduce something like hill workouts or strength training if you haven't had that in, and not have the worry of building up your mileage at the same time.
No, exactly. And what I'd say a final point as well is don't let bad habits creep back in.
Yeah.
If you've done that hard work of getting going, don't then kind of let that slip, because a lot of, routines and building running into your kind of everyday energy cadence, as I like to see it. Try and keep that rhythm going, so that when you do start back up, you're not having to implement things which are starting from scratch. So keep the good habits going, and just see it as a revisit of the base phase, I would say. I think you'll be more than fine. The fact you've kickstarted 3-4 weeks ago will actually probably have done you good before you've done any damage.
Yeah.
When I say damage, you know what I mean. Like, too much.
We know what you mean.
You know what I mean. Right. On to David Osborne. Hi, Paul and Chris. Congratulations on the great podcast. So good. Thank you very much. Very kind. We never get bored of hearing things like that, so thank you very much. I did my first half marathon in 2024 and ran 1:37. Felt great. I thought it was an okay time that I presumed I'd move on quickly, but no. I've tried 3 times since and I can't beat it. I've run 1:44, 1:43 and 1:38, which is close. The training plan I follow is always the same as it worked the first time. 3 runs a week, at about 45 kilometers in the week, split into an easy run of around 10 to 14k, an interval session of 10k kind of pace, 30 from 330 to 340 per k pace, I assume that means, and one long run, 14 to 20 kilometers. Sometimes I throw in a cycle to as well, usually 2 or 3 days. Usually do 2 or 3 days of strength training to try and avoid more than 3 runs a week, because I get quite a lot of niggles, which always makes me think I'm about to injure myself more drastically. I'm 54, so niggles are abound. Yes, totally understand. In the half marathon, I always seem to run out of power at about 17 kilometers, so I feel the need to change something. But what? My gut feeling is I don't have enough mileage at a fast pace. I know I need to run the half marathon at about 4:30 per k pace, but rarely run that for more than 15 minutes at a time in training. My instinct is to run a lot more at that pace, but then there's the 80-20 rule, which implies I shouldn't do this. Do you think it's okay to ignore the 80-20 rule, increase my average pace from running as infrequently as 3 runs a week? Another idea I had was to switch to 14 training day cycle, so I could do 7 runs in 2 weeks instead of 6, but always still have a rest day between. Any tips would be gratefully reviewed, David Osborne. I think, yeah, so for the sake of continuity, do you want to start that, Paula?
Yeah, well, I'm almost wondering if Dave was at the Steve Cram training camp the other week, because it almost came up, didn't it? And I think we discussed there the 80-20, and Steve wasn't a great fan. I'm not sure I am either. I'm a big believer in keeping the mileage like as low as you can get it to get the training in, but having the bulk of that mileage done at quality, rather than trying to put the emphasis on to quantity. And so I would absolutely back switching to a 14-day cycle if that's going to help you fit all of the key elements in more. Perhaps including one quicker, slightly shorter run. I'd actually start at about 6k and gradually build it up to not further than 10k at your half marathon pace, and see if that helps. And at the same time, build the long run a little bit longer. So you talk about it being between 14 and 20k, perhaps make it kind of edging over that 17k, which is where you're kind of hitting that barrier, and kind of cluster them around that 17 to the full half marathon distance, maybe a little bit beyond, but not all obviously at the half marathon pace, but try and finish it at that. So start off more easily and then try and wind it up as you come into the closing stages of that longer run, and just see if those couple of things. So you're not increasing your 3 runs a week, you're just kind of taking a longer period to fit the elements into. What do you think to that, Thommo?
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. But I think there's quite a few ways you could skin a cat on it, because again, variety is key. And I'll take a slight step back and say, repeating something in training over and over again makes you very good at doing that thing, rather than which is the game, which is, you're not racing every week. You are trying to do training to help you race better, so therefore you should be mixing things up as much as you can. So just by slightly altering it, I think would give you an improvement in itself, and certainly the way things Paula has said. I think part of me wonders if there's a way of, because you mentioned niggles and how you can kind of get around that, whether shortening maybe the easy run into 2 runs across 2 different days or something might help. I don't know. It depends on what type of niggles you get, but I definitely think your wording around trying to get more running at half marathon pace will definitely help. And I would also add in that kind of, again, it's fresh off our mind, so the cram comment of, if you're always doing 10k sessions, you still need to do 5k sessions to help the 10k to then help the half marathon, which again adds the variety. So I think you've got a lot of wiggle room there to try different things to try and help you. I certainly think that the things you're suggesting, the things that Paul is assessing, will help you. And I think even once you do that for a period of time, I think there's ways you can kind of help with adding a bit more 5k work and trying to add a little bit more volume at half marathon, but also just volume in total could help if you can. But certainly cycling helped with that.
Yeah, and the other thing that it doesn't mention is the surface that you run on, Dave. So maybe if you're going to go to a 2 week and you're going to add in those other runs within that, perhaps a trail run or certainly an off-road run. might help with the strength. You don't have to then run it faster, but your body is getting stronger. So when you go back onto the road, you will feel more efficient. That could help
I
as
like the
well.
fact he does 2 or 3 strength sessions, and again,
Yes, yeah, keep those
um,
in and the
yeah,
stretching as well.
but yeah, but don't the 80 these, for lack of a better word, these gimmicks that try and pigeonhole us all into an
Yeah.
80-20 rule or something like that. It's a frustration for a lot of elite athletes, because if you put it's very difficult to put any kind of generic wording like that across any elite athlete's program. Everyone gets to very high standards, and the common denominator is listening to your own body and what you need, and which is why um, like it's such a variety of choice out there, that trying to have one program fits all is quite it's not, especially when you're finding yourself hitting a bit of a stumbling block. Mix it up, spice it up, move things around, and so I'm not trying to I don't know who came up with the 80-20, and I don't want to slag it off. I'm just very conscious that we elite athletes don't sit there thinking like that.
No,
Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
and it's not
anyway.
a one size fits all. So play around with what you're doing. But I do like this listening to your body as well. And you're absolutely right. Listening to the niggles stops the niggles becoming something bigger. So absolutely keep on doing that. The
One
next one,
boring thing though, Paula,
yeah.
I find socks can be something that fits all. I don't know why, but I feel like I can stretch it. No, do you not find that?
No, I challenge you now. Go and put Theo's sock on or George's sock on. It isn't going to fit.
Well, yeah, that's an extreme example, but once you get to a certain size, I feel like you can. I don't know. Socks are probably the closest thing, or gloves. Hey, and
Right, now
gloves,
moving on.
gloves. Anyway, sorry.
And the next one comes in from Julia. And I'm going to start this one off because Julia starts out saying, I've been wanting to write into you both for ages. And I feel that now is a great time as I'm about to fly out to New York to run the New York City Marathon on Sunday. So first out, I really hope that New York went well for you, Julia. Please let us know how you got on there, because I hope that you did very well. She'd been listening to the podcast from the beginning, and we had given great advice leading up to the London Marathon. Well done. She doesn't mention what you did in. Oh, yes, she does. Sorry. Oh, that comes to that later on. Running up to the London Marathon and now into New York. I look forward to your episodes coming out each week. And I'm so grateful to you both for sharing your experience and knowledge of all things running. I also love the way that you work together and she doesn't say that, but we take the piss out of each other a little bit. I am a 45-year-old mum of 2 young kids. I'm also a detective in the Met Police. And I ran London last year in 2:56:43. So I think maybe we should be putting her on the honours board as well. That was a very proud moment to finally achieve a sub-3 marathon. I tried again this year at London, but the heat got to me and I finished in 3 hours 4. Well, I think that was probably worth a sub-3 in the heat this year.
I agree.
Don't you, Tomo? And
Definitely.
do you think I will be able to get sub-3 again? Absolutely, definitely. My husband thinks I won't. Well, he's not
What?
getting on the honours board. Right, husband's out. Yes, we think you will. You absolutely will, Julia. I'm going to give it another shot next year at London. I'm just going to enjoy the experience of New York. As I know it's not the fastest and it's a bit up and down, and I'm running in memory of one of my best friends who very sadly took her own life earlier this year. I have raised over £4,000 for the Samaritans, so this marathon will be a very special one for me. I'm sorry I was joking so much. I hadn't got to that point. And I have to say, huge hats off to Julia for going out and doing that. I really hope New York went according to plan. I don't think you should compare it time-wise at all with London ever. And instead, you should just look at the amount that you've raised, because that was a phenomenal, phenomenal amount. And I'm sure it even continued to climb during and after your exploits in New York. So yeah, she does say that she will let us know how she got on. So please do let us know that, Julia. And thank you both for all of your guidance and stories. Please keep them coming. So what do you think, Tom? We're going to be there holding a hand through to London again this year. And I absolutely think, weather permitting, that you can go out and smash that 3 hours, Julia.
No, completely. I mean, we don't have all information of what she does in training and all that, but I certainly think, off based on having run, as you've already alluded to, she's run 3 hours 4 in London last year on a hot day. And I know athlete I worked with was aiming for sub 3 and didn't get as close as that, but certainly was in shape to break 3. So I think it's always difficult to say it's worth it when it doesn't say it on paper, but sometimes, when you're asking the question of can I break it,
Yeah.
absolutely believe you can. And the other thing, being 45 years old, look, Sinead Diver, Australia, she's 45,
Yeah.
46, going to the Olympics, running her PBs. Like, I think even more so with females uh, in their 40s than possibly men. Like there's this real kind of there's a lot of female athletes in their 40s almost having a second wind, or however you want to express it, and running as PBs into their 40s, and men are starting to as well. And again, that comes down to just trailblazing and believing and just putting the time and effort. I've always said I didn't stop because I thought I couldn't run fast anymore. I stopped just because life demands meant I needed to go down a different direction with kids and different priorities. And there's no shying away that trying to run our best we've ever run involves time, dedication, and hard work. That's just the raw fact. So, the fact you've given us 45 is in no way a hindrance to you running sub 3. You've done it before. Your performance in London last year was without a doubt there. You're obviously a tough cookie. You've obviously got the support from everyone except your husband. Don't worry about that. And you did. I assume you did really well in New
That's
York.
fuel to prove him wrong, isn't it? Yeah,
Exactly.
I think
So I think
absolutely. When you're
you
struggling on those long
absolutely can.
runs, just pick it up a little bit and think of how much. Let's think of all the forfeits he's going to have to do when you break 3.
No,
We could.
well, exactly. Well, the thing is that as well with it is that I think sometimes we forget, and we have this as well. You just need someone to go, I think you can,
Yeah.
and you can do the rest. And I think that's sometimes words, especially from the nearest and dearest. One little comment of I believe it has such a powerful impact on someone's mindset and
Particularly with
confidence.
women, I think. Sometimes
Yeah,
it can be the other way with men, can't it? Sometimes a little bit of, oh, well, you show me you can do it, works. Whereas I think with women, absolutely, we hear that kind of support more of that belief and then go out with that and take it somewhere. The other fact to underline is that as you get older, your actual endurance improves. So
well,
while
for
other
females,
things
you
for
mean?
females, I think so,
Yeah,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, not obviously past a certain age, but where you are right now, Julia, I think that your endurance is not going to decline in the foreseeable future at all. So just focus on building on that. You're not trying to run at a faster pace than you have done already because you've already broken 3. You're just trying to consolidate that endurance. And like I say, let's hope that the weather in London next year is a little bit more conducive to fair times, because it certainly made it tough last year for so many people.
no, exactly. And we're not just saying it. Truly,
No.
yeah. There's no, no reason why you can't, based on what we see in there. Right, Rachel. Hi, Paula and Tomo. Thank you for your inspiring podcast. Thank you very much. We've just helped someone break 3 hours again. So, fingers. Yeah,
Hopefully.
you're absolutely spot on, Rach. I have a query about weight loss and running. I've been training consistently and loving my running lately, but I'm still finding it hard to break a 2 hour half marathon, which has been my target from when I first started running many years ago. I'm about a stone overweight, and I was wondering how much this might be holding me back. I know it can be a bit of a taboo subject, but if sensibly undertaken with more consistent balance and healthy diet, do you think I would see improve results with weight loss, or perhaps just increasing my interval training and tempo sessions would do the trick? I'm glad you've added that line. Absolutely. I find long distances at an easy pace very easy, but struggle when I try and pick up the pace at all. I've had 3 kids and I'm breastfeeding, so I'm not in a rush to lose weight, but just
No.
looking to the future and hoping I can one day achieve the times I want. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Paula, do you want to kick us off with that?
Absolutely. I think already when you were reading the beginning of the question there, I was very conscious of the fact that if you're trying to lose weight, you want to lose it healthily through training. But when you get to the part where you've had 3 kids and you're still breastfeeding, absolutely do not focus on weight loss. Focus on the training, focus on really supporting your body with all of the nutrition, because if you start to cut it down, then the baby's still going to take what they want from your body, and it's going to leach it from you. So all the time that you're breastfeeding, please don't focus on weight loss, just focus on the training. I kind of have a feeling that you might find that your weight will naturally come down in that, but you really need to make sure that you are fueling adequately. The other elements that you talk about, increasing interval training and tempo sessions, and perhaps the pace of your long run, absolutely. Again, with the proviso that when you do that in your breastfeeding, please focus on enough carbohydrates and proteins in, and absolutely enough hydration. High Five can help you with that if you want. There's a discount code, Paula25. You can use that, and that will help you with the hydration. Super important while you're breastfeeding.
Yeah. I don't need to add to that side of thing. Absolutely. I know Gemma's still breastfeeding at the moment herself, and the demands on a female's body is obviously great, and
I
obviously
mean,
the health of the baby and the mother comes first before anything, obviously.
I think I remember stat like something like, correct me if I'm wrong here, Tomo, because it is a while since I was
I doubt
pregnant
I'll be able to
and
correct
breastfeeding.
you. Yes.
But I think it's at least 800 calories extra a day, even if you're not running.
Okay. And you thought
Um,
I'd be able to correct you on that?
I just thought the science might have changed between the age of my kids, 18
Oh,
and 15, and the age of yours at
yeah.
4
Wishful
and
thinking there, Paula. I'm going to take your word for that. I mean, that's a lot of
I
calories, obviously,
think,
for the
yeah,
record,
and I
but
think
yeah.
it's more when you're training. And obviously depends on the age of the babies, which we don't know from this. But my big thing is going to be, I think you're going to see a huge kick in endurance from the pregnancies and from the feeding and just the giving birth as well. Plus, you're juggling a lot there as well. So I hope you've got some good support at home around that training, but really focus on the sessions when you can do them, making them count. So focus on the quality of those sessions, and as we said, the fueling and the hydration around it.
Yeah, I think the bit that I will always, through my coaching with athletes I work with, will always say, let your race weight find you rather than you chase the race weight, because um, your body when training will require refueling, recovery, and all those kind of things. And as long as you do that, the increased demands from running, you'll be amazed how much your body will kind of regulate, and weight will kind of come with it, because
Yeah.
it's you're obviously trying to run quicker. So as you try and run quicker, your body will kind of strip itself down naturally. So, and again, the type of training you do and the type of sessions you do will also increase or decrease kind of the amount of carbs. So whether you're doing hard reps or long easy, I mean, you say you found the long easy runs easier, which is great, but when you start doing rep sessions, the demand for refueling becomes a lot greater, because you really strip the glycogen stores because of you're producing lactate and you're trying to clear it. So don't ignore those signs, do it, and let the, as I say, my opening line was, let your race weight find you rather than you chase it. And
I love that. So say that once again.
what, for a third time?
Yeah, just to, because we might put it up in little quotes, so just to make sure that we
Okay.
get it right
Let
without stuttering.
race let without, all right.
I'm joking.
No, I know you got me. Now I'm all over. Let your race weight find you rather than you chase your waist rate. I've said waist rate.
Wait,
I
wait.
can't even.
That was my fault. Sorry, I set
Do you
you
know
up for
what?
that.
That's it. There's a thumbing in that waist. Don't let the race weight chase you rather than your waist chase the race.
Oh my
No,
God.
that's dumb.
Now
Right.
you've confused yourself and
No.
you're not going to get it
Okay.
right this
Right.
time now.
Let your race weight find you rather than you chase your race weight. Did I say it right? That's what I
Congratulations.
said.
Yes, you
Mark's
did.
nodding.
You
That's
did.
okay.
We'll put you on the honours board for that.
Thanks. But you know, it is, isn't it? Is it okay?
Yeah.
You know, because
It's no, it's that's
your
why I
job is
wanted
to
you to
stay
say it
healthy.
again. Yeah. And my coach
Your
used
job
to
is to
say
stay
that
healthy.
when we were kids. They used to make us like just take time off at the end of the season. And ironically, during that break, I actually used to lose weight sometimes because you lose muscle mass.
Mm.
And it would be then when you start back training that your weight might go up a little bit and then it stabilizes. And he just used to say, it's a good thing. I never want anyone to worry about it because I will train it off you, which is a really good outlook. So yeah, never focus.
Your sole job is to stay healthy. That's all you're
Absolutely.
thinking about. What's healthy and get your training done.
Definitely. So this might be the last one. It comes in from Siobhan. Siobhan says, "Hi guys, love the podcast and it's giving me lots of ideas for places to run and different events. I've been running for 10 years and I've completed lots of organised chip time events from 5K up to marathon and I love it. Recently, I joined a running club and I found myself for the first time in my life lining up with hundreds of other runners in a muddy field for club cross country. As someone who never ran at school, it is really daunting. Could you give me some tips on how to run these, as I'm used to doing my own thing with my chip timer, but this is an actual race where your finish place matters and not the time. I'm a middle of the pack runner and I'm female, age 47. I'm starting to enjoy it, but this is a whole new world from road running. Thanks so much, Siobhan. P.S. If this does get read out, please give a shout out to Trent Park Running Club." There you go, Trent Park Running Club. Thank you for launching Siobhan into the delights of cross country.
Um, I love this, and I think it's interesting where she uses the words instead of time matters, place matters.
Yeah.
But in reality, like it, it, it's actually the love and the joy of cross country is the fact that you are letting go of everything. The fact you can get lost into a massive athletes and it's you on the course and just running free is is actually the kind of the joy of it. And yes, you get a place at the time, but you're not worrying about that in the moment. I mean, we've got Innes Fitzgerald coming on next week, and I just love the fact, and it was in the interview of she finished 176th in the English schools in at Sefton Park in 2020, and then 5 years later she's winning the European trials. But my point being is there's a big that being in that pack and lost amongst everyone. I'm sure you had it, Paula. And it's actually quite. I found myself quite being in awe of it when I finished my ran in my first English schools, and I was just lost in this crowd. I had no idea what position I was. I didn't really know where I was in the course. I was getting muddy. I was losing spikes. I was all over the place. You're just trying to elbow everyone in, get your position. You're just trying to find your way. You're trying not to slip over, and actually, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It really is a lot of
it
fun.
is. And I
And
think
it's
it's
not.
it's embracing that fun, isn't it? And one of the things I love about cross country is I actually think, Siobhan, you'll find that it transfers over to your road racing
Mm,
in a good way, because it really teaches you to know your body and to
yeah,
run to the course, doesn't it? And to be able to gauge basically what you've got left in the tank and how you can afford to spend it on that cross country course. So it's a really good idea if you aren't doing already. And if Trent Park Running Club haven't got you walking the course beforehand, it's a good idea to walk that course so you know where you feel you're going to be comfortable and where you feel you're going to struggle. And then you gauge your effort accordingly around that course. And it's just learning to get the best out of your body and finding out where you run well and where you will have to tap into that concentration vibe a little bit more to get you through that. And maybe discover a bit of duct tape around your shoes as well to
mm.
hold them on in
Yes.
those really muddy races.
And I think that's the that's one of my favourite things is with cross country as well, that I find myself almost sprinting sections or then
Yeah,
struggling around sections, and then your pace kind of ebbs and flows. Rather on the
definitely.
road, it's like you set off and you're consistent. And I always feel with road racing, you're trying to flirt with that kind of red line, and when you go over it, it's kind of it's almost like a feeling of end of race, and
Yeah.
it's hard to pull back. But in cross country, that's what you're doing. You're constantly going over,
You're
coming
ping
under.
ponging, aren't you?
You're ping ponging, and I think that what exactly to your words of that relationship with self and understanding self, because the biggest skill I think you can learn in cross country, I don't know if you feel this, Paula, is trusting yourself and that power of recovery. So if you have a hill or you have a muddy section and you're only, let's say you're 2K into an 8K cross country, to back yourself that you can go really hard and feel like I've not got much left in that moment, but trust you're going to recover to be able to go again and actually feel good again in a K or two is a quite it's quite a purifying feeling to trust your body that it can do
Yeah.
what you're trying to get it to do. You get what I'm getting at, don't you?
Definitely, absolutely, and trust your spikes as well. And you learn to. So cross country is the first place I really learned to run downhill or to run over the top of the hill and just let gravity help you running down. And I know a lot of the people in the After Dark tour were probably wondering what I was doing, yelling at them down the hill. Just let gravity help you. But basically, if you relax and particularly on the cross country, trust that your spikes are going to find the grip and just let
Yeah.
gravity pull you down the hill and not try and brake with your quads and just get down that hill. It can be a great way to, as you said, recover that debt that you've taken yourself into, perhaps forcing it up the hill.
I've told you my falling over on a cross country in Luton story, haven't I?
No,
Okay.
down the hill. I can see where you mean
No,
in Luton.
yeah, but we'll save that for another day.
Okay,
Not for now.
we'll go into that a
That's a
different time.
Christmas special kind of story. That one. That one. Okay. Have I seriously not told
But
you that?
absolutely the best of luck. I don't think you have.
Okay.
We might have to go into that now quickly, just to,
No,
is
no,
it a
no, no.
quick
I'm
one or
not.
not a quick one?
Definitely
Okay,
not. I'm going to tease it because
all right, okay. We'll tease it
it's
for the next time. But in the meantime, Siobhan, please let us know how you continue to do in those cross country races. And thanks for writing in with that question because, yeah, I mean, cross country is something that I absolutely love from the very beginning. So that is about all that we have got time for in this episode of the Weekly Shakeout. Huge thank you to High Five for sponsoring this Shakeout. Don't forget you can head to highfive.co.uk, use that discount code Paula25 to get yourself 25% off all of their goodies. To write in with your questions or to text in with your questions, the number is +44 7564 747 914. You can email in to Paula's Run Club at momentumbroadcast.co.uk and of course on socials at Paula's Run Club. Don't forget to like and follow us on YouTube and anywhere else as well. It has been a Momentum Broadcast production and I would like to close this episode of the Shakeout with a special honouring of George Bunner, who sadly passed away last week. Our thoughts are with his family and friends. He is, of course, the founder of Sports All Athletics, amongst many other things. The stalwart of Frodsham Harriers, where I started out my athletics career, coached Shirley Strong to a silver medal in those 1984 Olympics. And as I said, the inventor of the turnaround boards, which so many of us have used and continue to use today. So thank you very much, George, for all that you did.